I'm hungry.
Hello everybody out there, it's your good buddy DJ Clyde with yet another 4-part special! In normal instances, each one of these individual items would get their own designated episode, but I figured what the hell? Lots of other YouTubers and Twitch streamers do it this way, let's do it all here in one big shebang! Now, I have lots of easy go-tos on this show, and probably the most easy one to go to is the snack from foreign lands. It's easy because the possibilities are limitless. What's weird for me is often normal for other people. And I hope to one day get to sample snacks from every country. England, Australia, China, Russia. Creaky? It's very much unlike you to interrupt the show like this. Hell, I can only guess. Are you guys staging another coup? Oh, that thing. It's been such a non-factor, I almost forgot that it was here. Or else what? What the hell am I even gonna do, Creaky? How do I fight a ghost? You can like go through walls and shit. For this show to be ripping off, why are we going to that one episode of Batman the Animated Series with Michael Gross from Family Ties? And that's Batman I'm talking about. He could probably fight a ninja blindfold if he wanted. I'm just a normal schlub. What am I gonna do? How do you fight when you can't see? So anyways, the Japanese snacks. Alright, look, I know I've had a problem on the show lately differentiating my Chinese from my Japanese. The last program we talked about those century eggs, I was led to believe that those were Japanese in origin because they were in the Japanese section of the Divinity Crate catalog. It turns out that they are a Chinese delicacy often enjoyed in Japan. Now I looked up on Wikipedia about that show Gudetama, and it insists that it took place in Japan, and yet there was a Chinese food grocer in that show that was birthing these century eggs. To this day, I'm still confused and still trying to come up with new ways to cover for myself. All I can say is that I'm sorry. I'm going to meticulously read these labels on these snacks as I review them and make sure that the viewing public knows that these are of the correct origin. I mean, as of press time, I haven't posted the Century Egg episode, but I guarantee there are people out there who will be offended by my mistake. So even though this is kind of sort of a mutt of an episode, just a bunch of scraps that I'm gathering together to make a special, you can look at this as one gigantic make good. So ladies, gentlemen, Chinese, Japanese, Americans, and everybody else out there, I give to you this wonderful YouTube experiment only known as They Came from the East! And so, not to offend any of y'all further, I'm gonna make the soundtrack to this special as innocuous as possible. This will be the furthest from Chinese or Japanese music. I dare you not to tap your toes to the wondrous music of this funky 32X gem. Give a little listen to Tempo! Alright, everybody strap in and we're gonna see what stop one of this journey will plop into our laps!
Koikia Company presents to you a snackable option so out the ordinary, it's clear soup flavored potato chips. These dried, robust, flaky spuds are combined with the tastes of meat broths and vegetables to create a creamy, amplified taste and a one-of-a-kind Asian zing. Yet another original brand from your friends at Koikia.
Koikia Potato Chips! Koikia has created a culture and history of Japanese potato chips since 1962! It says it right there on the bag. Japanese! If these turn out to be Chinese in origin, are you gonna freaking slay me with slings and arrows all over again? Can you blame me? The information is right there. They're trying to confuse me all the time. It wouldn't surprise me if this was like from freaking Madagascar or something. And the tiny, tiny little bit of English on the back of this bag tells me that this is a clear soup flavored potato chip. What a novel idea. The Japanese, they're so freaking cool, right? In their simplicity. I imagine that such a thing would not be allowed to exist in America because we're so bombastic about everything. Everything's got to be radical and cool, and what's so cool about a clear soup? Nothing. There's something so chill about this, something so laissez-faire, I suppose you could say. And doesn't that equate to its own kind of coolness? Time to pop this sucker open and take a sniffy sniff. Hope these potato chips haven't been in here since 1962. Just smell like potato chips to me. This one has the propensity to be pretty mundane and pretty lackluster. Hopefully our first one out the gate's not going to be a wet fart. These taste like very high quality potato chips. You think of a normal potato chip, envision what it tastes like. Maybe you add a little tiny smidge more taste, and that's what these taste like. But do they taste like anything special? I don't think so. I guess it was kind of a cool idea to try to infuse a potato chip with a taste of clear soup, but I think to successfully do that, you're going to have to first obliterate and completely nullify the taste of the potato chip, because the taste of clear soup is so light unto itself. The taste of a potato chip, a normal, unflavored potato chip, would eradicate that flavor. You wouldn't even notice it. It just disappears into it. I think that's exactly what happened here. And hey, I'm not knocking it. These are very flavorful, very greasy, and very crunchy. But are they really all that much different than a regular bag of Lay's? They were promising you something grand on the front of this bag, and you didn't get it. For all we know, they could have just freaking diverted a channel of potato chips that were going to a normal bag of Lay's and poured them into this bag. Nobody would know different. If I were to give this a star rating, I mean, that's going to have to be reflected in the grade. Normally, I would probably give this 3.5 stars. I'm going to bump it down a full star to 2.5. Sad to say, here in America, when you buy a product such as this, they're going to jack the price through the roof. You're going to be paying through the poop chute for a bag like this. So what you get in return for all that money better be something special. This is nothing special, and as good as these are a colossal waste of cash. Oh, just bit my mouth. Why are my teeth lopsided in my own skull? I think I'm bleeding. On to the next one.
In the US, the steak fry is just a fatter type of French fry. Well, here the meaning is quite literal. Introducing Calbee Jaguarico beef-flavored fries. Beyond crunchy potato sticks, fused with a rare, juicy, beefy taste, along with green onion, black pepper, and a whole bevy of spices. Eat enough of these, and these beef fries will make you fatter!
Calbee beef salt flavored French fries. Product of Japan. It says it right there, black and white, clear as crystal. If this turns out to be Chinese and not Japanese, don't go banging on my door. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just reading what's on the label. Bring your slings and arrows and torches someplace else. To grade this product, I'm going to operate in a different set of rules. Because if this turns out to be merely mundane, if this turns out to be just run-of-the-mill, I gotta take an additional half a star off because of the size of the bag. A product such as this, which is 1/4 of the size of the bag of the thing that we just ate, is gonna cost you exactly the same amount of money. So if this tastes just boring like anything we could get here in America, you gotta penalize it for that big time. All right, time to crack this sucker open and see what's doing on the inside. Smells like Planters potato sticks. And I'm at a point where I need this to taste refreshingly different. I need this to put me in a better mood because I'm feeling so exasperated right now. So at the end of my rope, if you only knew the kind of things that were happening in between each and every smash cut that has happened on this show thus far. I am having such issues with things behind the scenes. Every time I walk by this stupid light over here, my shorts, the pocket on my shorts gets caught on the wire and I almost bring the whole thing down. That has never happened in 17 years of filming on YouTube. Never mind. You son. Jeez. Any other day when my pockets. What? Come on with this shit! Yeah, see? I reiterate, it has never happened in the history of the show. It has happened like 5 times today only. So I'm counting on you, Calbee Company, to lift my spirits. The ball is in your court. Are you gonna succeed or are you gonna flake out? What to say about these? Well, for one thing, they have a very impressive crunch. It's the kind of thing where you put it into your mouth and you even put the slightest, tiniest bit of pressure on it with your teeth, and the thing explodes in your mouth. It just shatters like a light tube against Nick Gage's back. And when you first put them into your mouth, it's gonna taste a little fishy. And I mean that in both senses of the word. Fishy as in peculiar, and fishy as in creatures of the sea. A lot of times when you eat Japanese snacks, that lingering taste is in the air because they believe in their fish over there. But by about stick 5 or 6, you start to figure out what they were going for. The steak taste starts to come out a little bit, your brain starts to recognize it. And it's not just any steak taste, it's a very specific steak taste that they nailed here. It's a taste of extremely rare steak, which is very strange coming from such a crunchy item. When you think of rare steak, you think of mushy and it barely even crunches in your mouth. So there's a little bit of a conflict there, but other than that, I think it succeeded pretty spectacularly. So I'm happy to say that this one passed the test, if this were a competition, which I don't think it is, but if it was, this is gonna be a tough one to beat. If I were to give it a star rating, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. So these bring the term steak fries to an all-new literal level. If I were to compare them to anything, have you ever been to a Brazilian restaurant and they give you that ribeye steak, like the really thinly sliced steak on a skewer? Kind of tastes like that. It's got that similar spice to it. It's not the kind of spice that's gonna leave you heading for the hills or nothing, but if you are to eat this item, I would suggest that you have like a soft drink or a water nearby because even though it's not really the most potent spice, it is a very pervading spice. It's gonna stick around in your mouth all day until you physically wash it out. And lastly, this item is also a cut above the rest because it comes in a resealable package. So you can save some for later. It'll remain forever fresh. They thought of everything. This run right here is the one to beat. Let's see if the next one down the line can pull it off.
Feeling a bit plum-tuckered out? Engorge some Koikya brand refreshing plum-flavored potato chips. Up to now, you would never equate the typical snack food with the word refreshing, but at long last, it's here! Fruit-flavored potato chips with a tart that's second to none, fueled by real plum vinegar extract and seasoned with powdered plum meat. Enjoy!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Koikya brand refreshing plum-flavored potato chips!
It's Koikya, not Koikya.
Don't interrupt! You're just the announcer voice. Stay in your lane!
I'm just saying, DJ, perhaps you should get a handle on this before you start. Remember what happened the last time you covered an Asian product? You don't want to offend the viewing public again, do you?
Ugh, I hate to say it, but he's right. Koikya brand refreshing plum-flavored potato chips! Damn it, it's a curse to be me. Nothing pisses me off than people correcting me, and I happen to be wrong all the time! It says right here, product of Japan. So put your slings away, folks. There's nothing wrong with your arms. And you can have your arrow pointing every which way, but point them away from me for a change. And you can take your stupid torches and use them to start the opening ceremony at the Olympics and keep them away from my door. Every mistake that I've ever made on this show is an honest mistake. It's not my fault the world is so confusing! Well, looky here, boys and girls, we actually are in contact with a fruit-flavored potato chip. If you will remember, back in the battle for the weirdest Lay's flavor, you might recall we were entertained with the idea of a fruit-flavored potato chip. But it turned out to be a wolfberry in sheep's clothing. It was actually some kind of rice/seaweed snack and not a potato chip at all, thus throwing the whole routine in a state of disarray, and I had to cover it up with the best of my ability. At the end of the episode, I muttered to myself that if only it could have worked out, it would have been really cool. A fruit-flavored potato chip is actually a good idea. And if only it existed. Well, it exists, folks, and it's here. I am curious as all hell to know what this smells like. Well, not to beat around the bush, but it kind of smells like... I've got so much to worry about here nowadays. It's not this freaking ghost, it's this damn light situation. So stupid. Jeez, that light's not looking too good. Might be on death's door. Well, hopefully the filament won't pop before I pop into this bag of chips. Ugh, these are the greasiest chips I've ever felt. I half expect to see a pool of liquid like swishing around the bottom of this bag. Possibly, I shouldn't be worried. There's a good possibility that this might not be grease that I feel, but honest to goodness, fruit juice. Maybe these chips are infused with real plum juice. Plum juice. Of all the fruits that it had to be, why a plum? People seem to love plums. People seem to hate prunes. Why is that? A plum is a prune! So you can put this in as happy and chipper and bright a bag as you want and call it plum-flavored potato chips. I look at them and I see prune-flavored potato chips. Wish me luck, everybody. Well, I wanted a fruit-flavored potato chip, and I got it. Way to go me, I guess. It doesn't taste so much like a fruit flavor as it tastes like a potato chip with a really strong tang to it. If I were to compare it to anything, I mean, this really doesn't do a whole lot of you any good because it's a very specific taste, but it tastes almost exactly like those electric lime and sea salt chips that I had a couple reviews back. And hey, you'll remember those electric lime and sea salt chips scored really high in my book, but the reason why I'm not as happy here was that I was expecting something very different. There's something to be said about expectations. Maybe I'm wrong for having them, I don't know, but I don't think so. I think when you look at this bag, your mind is expecting one thing, you're not expecting to get some other thing. And like I said, I asked for a fruit-flavored potato chip, and I got one. Perhaps this is just what happens. This is just the way that it tastes, and I have to live with that. Perhaps that's why they went with a plum, which has a much stronger taste than a normal fruit. Like, you wouldn't go with like a strawberry as like your first choice, or like a watermelon or something like that, although that probably could be very tasty if they tried it. But a plum has a really strong taste, and you infuse that into a potato chip, it nullifies all those tastes, and you're left with this. You barely taste any fruit flavor at all. You taste something, but what that something is, you can't identify. If I were to give this a star rating, I would give it 3.5 stars. It's very delicious, but at the same time, it's a confused taste. Like, if you were to cover up this bag, I know I say this all the time, but it's never rang truer than here. If you were to cover up this bag, you give people like random chips, you tell them, describe to me what you're tasting in your mouth right now. It'll take them a million guesses before they get to a plum-flavored potato chip. In fact, it might take them 500,000 guesses before they say a fruit-flavored potato chip. And I also dock a 0.5 star or so because of the greasiness of them. They're so damn wet. Why they gotta be so wet? If you eat this bag, you better be eating it at home, somewhere it could be directly next to a sink so you can wash your hands afterward, because if you're out on the town and eating this as a snack, like maybe like you're walking through the city or something, you just bought this at a strange like novelty store that sells Japanese snacks, you can't just like walk around and eat this without, you're gonna have to stop somewhere and wash your hands because you're gonna feel disgusting for the whole rest of the day. My hands got like a lacquer on them. And as I'm sitting here talking to all of y'all, I'm happy to say that my mouth is slowly but surely filling with a nice, pleasant, fruity aftertaste that actually kind of tastes like plums. So the taste is there, it's going to hit you, but after a long period of time. Should I award it back a 0.5 star for that? Nah, why overcomplicate things? I think when I'm grading a food item, the most important time to base that grade upon is the time where the food item is actually in my mouth, I'm crunching it, and I'm experiencing its first couple of tastes. And yeah, I've awarded some products in the past brownie points for having good aftertaste, but here, I just don't think it was enough. I don't think it's enough to get it over that hump. So one more item to go, and I still have so much more ground to cover here. I mean, I gotta worry about this damn light making it through the show, which is like blowing sparks right now. I seriously doubt if that's gonna happen. I might even have to worry about it catching fire. And on top of that, I have to bust a ghost, otherwise my dogs are gonna leave? How the hell do I even begin to do that? I don't have a proton pack. And then I'm forgetting that I had one more item that I still have to review in front of all of y'all. Let's take a look into the future, you and I, and see maybe what this wonderful Japanese item could be. Hopefully it's something that's palatable. Oh no, it's that thing. Ah, no! I don't want to put that thing in my mouth. Ah!
It might say Yaki right on its packaging, but it is anything but. When So Nintendo tells you to have some squid on a stick, perhaps he is referring to this, Suguru Ikasugata Yaki, or grilled squid. This cold, juicy Japanese jerky is not just made of savory squid, but promises a soft, robust flavor with nothing in the way to detract from the meat itself. It's the best way to enjoy Ika! No silverware required!
It says right here, product of Japan! So get your slings, get your arrows, slings and arrows and torches, hangs and slarrows, arches and tings, taros and slorches, get your coops, get your dogs, get your trucks! Is anybody on the planet gonna pick up this item off a store shelf and say to themselves, oh, yum? No, I guarantee no one ever does that. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to wager that this very package that I hold in my hand right now, prior to me holding it, it was sitting on some store shelf in a Japanese grocer, and no less than a dozen people walked by it, saw it, picked it up, laughed at it, and said to their friends, hey, what does this look like? Completely ignoring the obvious here. Trying my damnedest to bury the lead on this one. That I essentially hold in my hand a squid-flavored gummy snack in the shape of a cock! What do you think the company who made this was trying to prove? What idea were they trying to convey to their consumer? Well, walking by this on a store shelf, you won't be able to tell what kind of meat this is from a cursory glance. It would just look like some white, slimy jerky meat. Meat that's so disgusting that you don't even want to ask what it is. The intent was to make this squid jerky identifiable to the customer by making it the vague shape of a squid itself. Think about that for a second. To make this, a bunch of humans set sea with a bunch of fishing nets, caught themselves huge hauls of squid, brought the carcasses to some factory, and had their bodies all minced up to a point where you couldn't recognize them anymore, basically turning them into a formless paste of some sort. And with that paste, they filled up little molds in the shapes of squids. We went through all that trouble, folks, to take the squid and turn him into something else, only to turn him right back into a squid. What the fuck is wrong with humanity? And equally wrong is that humanity failed at that ultra pointless mission because this doesn't look like a squid. I say what it looks like, and to those of you with sensitive ears, stop listening until this timestamp. It looks like a wiener, a schlong, a peenie, a schmeckle, a genital, a sexual organ, a member, a piston, a bike, a pecker, a John Thomas, a cyclops, a Peter, a trouser trout, a spooge lobber, a unit, a tool, a woody, a hard-on, a stiffy, a shaft, a peen, a weenus, a dingling, a phallus, a winky, a baloney pony, a pinga, a willy, a custard launcher, a Johnson, the piping, the fun factory, the plumbing, the head, the groin, the penetrating tool, the pee-pee hose, the unmentionable, the pink torpedo, the camel cigarette, the towers from the Little Mermaid, the dick, the schmuck, the prick, the wanker, need I go on? It's a penis! A white, skinless peen! Ah! Better hurry up and eat this thing before I have to hit the abort button on this episode. But I don't want to eat this thing! Give me just a little more time! And I love when Charlie grow. I can't believe I'm actually about to eat this thing. And I've had Ika on prior episodes, so I know kind of what to expect here, but this just looks especially nasty. It feels like Nickelodeon gack to the touch. I mean, if I were to show this to you folks at home, you don't even have to feel this for yourself. You know exactly what this thing feels like. Ugh. And now is the time where I am thankful that I am not popular on YouTube, because if I were popular, I would have a lot of haters, and all those haters would be taking this video specifically of me putting this thing in my mouth, and you know what they would be doing with it. They would probably put it to porno music and have it look like I'm doing all these salacious things. They could put anybody's body on this thing and it would look like that I'm sucking them off. Good lord, this has got to be the most X-rated video I've ever made. Well, besides that Legend of the Overfiend review I did. Oh, man. You know, every guy watching this movie, watching this video right now, saw me do that, and they all just spontaneously crossed their legs. It's a guy thing. If you like squid, if you really like squid to the point where you would take one out of the water and put it directly in your mouth without preparing it in any sort of fashion, there's no reason why you won't like this. Because that's exactly what it feels like. It just feels like you're eating a still, barely even dead squid that you pulled straight out of the ocean. You can taste the ocean water. You can taste the fishy taste. You can taste the coldness. You can taste the rubberiness. It's all there. And you know, as of press time, I haven't done the research. I haven't gone back into the archives. I don't remember what I said about that soft Ika that I had. I guarantee that I liked it better than this. Because this is just a big block that you have to chew through. I figured this would be so much easier if somebody like put it through a strainer or something like that and then served it to me kind of like you would a pulled pork. That would be fine. But it's because it's this giant slab that I gotta chew through, and it's so cold and slimy and wet. It's just undoable. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but sometimes the shape really, really matters. Like, you ever go to a candy store and you see those king-size gummies? Like, I've seen them in the shape of like giant gummy bears or like giant rats and snakes and shit. Well, you walk by that, you're like, ugh, that's disgusting. Who would eat that? But at the same time, it's a gummy snack. They usually taste delicious. It's because they're so big and fat. And that makes all the, there's a hard part. What the hell is that? And on top of everything else, you shouldn't be allowed to eat this snack within 500 feet of a kindergarten. Because there's just something wrong to watch people eat. There's all sorts of hard pieces. Ugh. And my breath is going to be stank for the rest of the day. It's a really strong, fishy taste. I imagine half the people who watch this video, who actually clicked on this video, have already turned it off. They're not going to see how this ends. The other half are still watching it, but they're watching it with a waste paper basket, and they're heaving their guts out. I apologize. It's not my fault. So if I were to give this a star rating, what the hell do I do? Ah! My teeth didn't even go into it. My God. You know what? I would consider this pretty average if it wasn't for all the hard pieces and the portions that you just can't bite through. You just kind of have to swallow down. As you're chewing it, you just kind of find yourself chewing around it. It just remains invincible as everything around it turns to goo. And then when you're done, you just have to kind of like choke it down. So for that, I'm going to give this 1 star. Because of those tough to chew portions, you have to shred Ika. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to do it. Unless you're one of those people that just loves squid so much that you're going to eat every part of it, including its eyeballs. My advice to you folks out there, if you're going to buy this product, first of all, I advise you not to buy this product. But if you are, I suggest you take it home, get it right out of its wrapper, and throw it into a blender. That way, I mean, yes, all those hard pieces are still going to be there, but they're going to be chopped up so fine to a point where you're going to just swallow them down and not even register them. Because to eat it like this, it's like you're being absorbed by it. It's like some gigantic Ika amoeba that's slowly swallowing you into it, and you feel just all cold and wet within its tenderly embrace. Well, folks, this has been yet another... This has been yet another fine special here on Limbo Grub. And what do I say in summation? Oh no! Come on, you can last another minute. I gotta get this thought out! Shit.
Holy hell, there he is! I can see him right out in the open! But better play dumb. Just keep going with the episode like normal. Can't let him know that I see him.
So anyways, what were we saying? What was the whole theme of this episode? Oh yeah, the moral of the story is Japanese snacks are fun to do. And I suggest that you out there watching this special go out and try some today. I mean, chances are a lot of you folks watching aren't living in Japan right now, but there are always methods to get these items at your home. Maybe you can go to a specialty grocer. A lot of malls have them. Find some of these items at skyrocketed prices. Or you could go on Amazon. That's always an option. You can find things from all over the world through Amazon. It's just quite a nifty little service. There's a multitude of ways to bring these items to your happy home. I just had an idea. So this is your good buddy DJ Clive, saying until next time. May I? Which means it's not a ghost. It's